Let me also now bring in our guest to take this discussion forward. We have spokesperson of Karnataka BJP, Mohan Vishwa. We have spokesperson of the Congress Party, Lavanya Balal. We also have senior journalist, R.K. Upadhyay, and we have CEO of V Technologies, Chakko Vallappa. Good to have all of you on the broadcast with us. Mohan Vishwa, let me begin with you. Now, the argument that is coming in from critics like Mohandas Pai, even a lot of job seekers, they're saying, till date, we thought the only requirement to get a job was talent or merit. Why is that being taken away from us?
See, in fact, I do what Mr. MD said. The law which we are making is not the new demand which we have today. It is based on Sarojini Mahishi report, which was, analyzed and published way back. So as a part of it, one part of it, our CM has told in the recent assembly session that he's going to make, the Kannada language mandatory. It doesn't mean that when we make something mandatory, the medium of instruction, which might be as a part of national education policy, where our Prime Minister has also very clearly told that, the regional languages have to be promoted more and more. So under that tension, it has been made. And obviously, while making this kind of law, the investment and the development and the economic, even that will be also taken into consideration. Taking that only into consideration, and also the emotions of Kannadigas also taken into consideration, the policy and the law will be formed.
It's no, not but that's that, where the criticism is that are we going to give jobs based on emotions? Because does Karnataka have only Kannadigas? No. It has representatives from across the country. So why not give them a fair chance? Why deprive them of that fair chance just because they're not local?
See, that's what I said. It's not that, only local should get, outsiders should not get. That is not the law. Please do understand. So in a working culture, in a working environment, when they're in a political city, the local language also should be promoted in their working environment. So keeping that in mind, this is made. It doesn't mean that, there should be some sort of
promote the local language.
Made.
Nobody is taking it from the fact that Kannadiga should take pride in the local language. Priority should be given as far as names or signage is concerned. But as far as the job sector, the private sector is concerned, why are you depriving others who are not from Karnataka to not have a fair shot at the job sector? That's the basic question. Why are we mixing pride and a fair opportunity for those who want to get a job?
I'm reiterating again, in addition to the existing skill which they had either in their curriculum or during their work experience in the past to get a job or the talent, so the Kannada will be added, as an additional exposure probably while recruiting. That's all. It doesn't mean that their entire career exposure, what they have done in the past or their education will be not looked into. Only the pure weightage will be given to Kannada. No, that's not the case over here. Okay. It's only an additional, the point which will be seek to a job the guy who is searching for the job in the state of Karnataka. That's all. So it will not reprieve anybody from, getting selected based on their talent or based on their past experience or based on educational qualification.
Okay. I have a slight issue with what you're saying, and I want a clarification on a larger issue, but I want to bring in Lavanya in the conversation as well. Lavanya, the argument that's coming in from the state government is that Karnataka is not going to be the first state to be doing so. States like Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, others have already done so. Other proposals are in the pipeline as well. So why are you singling out and creating politics out of it?
See, I understand the emotions behind this entire move. Like the BJP spokesperson was saying, we are responding to the people's emotions. But we have to look at it as, is it very viable option? Is it the right option? Is it the right thing to do? Like the speaker was saying, there are many ways in which you can develop the language. Kannada language needs support. Kannada language needs to be propagated more. Kannada language or the Kannada and Culture Ministry needs to focus much more on ensuring that Kannada language is protected. But that also means you have to ensure that the citizens or whoever or the youth of Karnataka have the proper skills to compete with the citizens who go across the globe and compete in a very different market. Being very protective of our youth who may or may not have skill to compete with the rest of or rest of the world is not the right option. Upskilling and enhancing their skills is the first option that the government must look at.
Correct. And that's a similar point that Mr. Mohandas Pai was also making, that yes, you want to keep the interest of the locals of the Kannadiga is at the center of it, but you should look at other ways of doing so. R.K. Upadhyay, I want to bring you in. Keeping the job discussion aside for 1 minute, do you think this is mending a ways for locals and Kannadigas by the Bommai government because of the backlash that they received because of Hindi Divas?
I think Hindi Divas is a different question altogether. See, this Kannada issue has been there for a long time, and everybody knows about the Sarojini Maishi Committee report in 1984, which talked about 100% reservation for Kannadigas in certain category of jobs. But that is no longer relevant now. See, we have moved forward from 80s, and I see the job market is enhanced, and there is the Constitution doesn't fight for this. You see, under the Indian Constitution, every Indian has to live and work in any part of the country. So that is a given. So you can't discriminate against people who don't know Kannada.
Correct.
What if tomorrow Tamil Nadu says only Tamil knowing people will be given preference? Maharashtra says Marathi knowing people will be given preference. So this is going to be against the federal system. And I don't think any straitjacket rules preventing others from getting the jobs or giving preference to the locals will work. The courts will just strike it down.
Yeah.
So instead of that, I think, as Mohan was also saying, you need to see that the language develops first. So look at the pathetic state of the Kannada schools. Many of them have been closed down, and people are leaving Kannada medium schools and joining English medium schools. Why is that happening? See, government has to reflect on these things. And, they should incentivize those who are setting up Kannada medium schools, incentivize those who are translating from, other languages, good books. And then, you need to develop the skills that are required, to take up the job. See, you can do that in the government jobs. You can do that in the secretariat, where Kannada is very much required. But you can't force the, private sector to take, people who know Kannada only. So that will not work. So if these employees need an interface with the locals, yes, definitely the companies know, and they will prefer people who know Kannada.
Yeah.
But if it has nothing to do with the language, that cannot be the only criterion or the major criterion for giving jobs.